Over the warm waters of the western Pacific, the Philippines stretches out like a vast archipelago breaking the horizon. Thousands of islands are cloaked in dense jungles and jagged coastlines where humidity saturates everything and the heat shows no mercy. In these lands, mountains vanish into low clouds, and jungles breathe with the weight of untouched centuries. Isolated from the continent for millions of years, these islands never faced the large predators of other regions. Instead, survival fell to creatures who mastered the art of stalking. Here, the hunter reigns through shadows, patience, and silent waiting. In such a diverse ecosystem, the true challenge is not the presence of large predators but the subtle threats hidden in every shadow: a cracked trunk concealing a snake, dry leaves betraying a furtive footprint, or a misjudged leap between high branches. Survival in the Philippines depends on adaptation, not speed or strength. Civets glide through darkness, reticulated pythons take prey larger than themselves. Philippine crocodiles lurk in remote rivers, and lizards dive into water to escape. Birds of brilliant color punctuate the greenery, while horned toads and venomous snakes turn the damp ground into a trap. High above, the Philippine eagle surveys all with a motionless gaze. Every creature sharpens its instincts to survive where danger hides in a rustling leaf or the shimmer of a pool. When sudden rains arrive, humidity transforms every surface into a hazard, and competition for food and territory leaves no respite. In this archipelago, only those who trust their skill endure. Welcome to the Philippines, a treacherous paradise where beauty and peril coexist. In this world of vigilance and stealth, some creatures become nearly invisible, slipping into darkness without a trace. Among them is a hunter beyond ordinary sight, unlike Africa's big cats and far from open plains. Living high among twisted branches and waterlogged roots, the Philippine clouded leopard avoids the spotlight, yet its body tells a story of precision. Its fur, patterned with diffuse markings resembling fog over the canopy, dissolves seamlessly into the forest. Its anatomy speaks of a life built for stalking: short, powerful legs, sharply curved claws, and a tail as long as its body that balances every daring maneuver. It can hang upside down from branches or descend like a primate, abilities nearly unique among predators of its size. Its upper fangs, proportionally longer than any modern feline, recall ancient saber-toothed cats, capable of piercing a monkey's spine or a deer's neck. A solitary crepuscular hunter, it climbs, observes, and waits without fixed routes. Its prey ranges from arboreal mammals, birds, and reptiles to animals larger than itself, making it one of the few felines capable of killing bigger prey without a chase. Amid thick branches by a swamp, an adult bird remains motionless for hours, while below, a young crocodile approaches the shore, creating a slow wake among floating leaves. The leopard waits. There is no rush. In this world, survival belongs to those who master the timing. When it strikes, there is no outpouring of violence. No noise, only a precise, calculated decision. The crocodile barely has time to react. The prey yields, and the thicket claims it. No feast, no fanfare, a silent death. The forest repeats this scene endlessly, far from any eyes. Here, brutality is never announced, it is executed. Meanwhile, in the misty mountains of Moro, the first light of dawn filters through the fog. On the slopes, barely revealed clearings mark the dense vegetation, and a creature moves with ancient caution. It is a tamer, one of the few that still persists in the wild. Unlike other bovids, it does not seek the protection of a herd. Its life is lived entirely in solitude, and this choice is far from arbitrary. In a shifting archipelago where terrain and human activity have fragmented natural corridors, those who learned to move alone and avoid familiar paths have survived. Its compact, muscular body allows it to traverse steep, treacherous areas others avoid. It avoids open grasslands, instead navigating hidden corners, wet ravines, and deep mudflats that confound predators. What might seem a disadvantage is, in fact, an advantage. Nature rarely rewards the easy path, and the tamer's careful, marginal existence is a reminder that survival often depends on treading the roughest edges. Moving silently through the undergrowth, the tamer pauses at a clearing where hardy grasses sprout. Its powerful jaws tear at the wet leaves, but its eyes remain alert to any movement. Feeding is deliberate, because every step outside cover can be fatal. In these remote corners lie the resources that sustain life. Yet even this careful strategy does not guarantee survival. Habitat loss has reduced their numbers to fewer than 200 individuals. Each passing day is another act in a relentless struggle against extinction, a ceaseless effort to continue existing amid uncertainty. Solitude is not imposed, it is a deliberate strategy. For the tamer, life is a delicate balance between constant risk and the necessity of moving forward, day after day. Just as in Moro, the jungles of the Philippines demand vigilance. Life survives in the hidden, and those who master the environment rely not on speed or numbers, but on patience and intimate knowledge of the terrain. Evening brings no relief from the oppressive heat. Humidity lingers, dense and muffling, cloaking every movement. In this saturated world of life and decay, some creatures need no light to dominate. Among flooded roots and dark ravines, a reticulated python patrols its territory. Its scales, marked with irregular, shifting patterns of ochre and green, reflect the forest itself. It moves deliberately, confident that the jungle belongs to it. This predator does not rely on speed. Millennia of adaptation have equipped it to sense vibrations in the ground, detect subtle scents in the air, and patiently wait. Unlike hunters that strike with swift pursuit, the python masters the slow, silent stalk, the confined space, the hidden trap. In these shadowed margins, it lies in wait. A macaque, trusting the cover of the undergrowth, descends toward a pool. It halts, sniffing the dense, humid air, unaware of the predator observing every movement. It senses no danger. A few meters away, a still snake blends seamlessly with the wet ground, a dark root among mud and fallen leaves. For several minutes, nothing stirs until the python suddenly coils its body, striking with immediate, silent, and deadly force. In the Philippines, this same lethal patience has made the species an unexpected threat to nearby communities. In ant plantations, chicken coops, and small villages, large pythons linger in the darkness, leaving victims whose fate is only discovered once the jungle has taken its course. Few predators remain so true to their ancestral instincts. In these forests, where the jungle dictates every rule, the reticulated python is an unstoppable force, silent and patient, capable of waiting hours, days, or even weeks for a single instant in which life and death hang in a brutal balance. Its dominance persists in the shadows, a reminder that in the Philippines, nature adapts and endures. This fragmented archipelago in the Pacific, with over 7,000 islands spanning 1 million square kilometers of land and sea, forms a stage where hidden forces shape jungles, mangroves, and mountains, creating refuges for unique fauna, the result of millennia of geographic isolation. Temperatures remain nearly constant here, with humidity enveloping the land, ranging from a warm 27 to 30 during the day and a slight cool at night. The dense jungle forms a living, interwoven system of trees, vines, and soil in delicate equilibrium. One thing stands out: there are no large cats, wolves, or dominant terrestrial predators like those found in other ecosystems. This absence stems from the island's geology and evolutionary history. For millions of years, the Philippine Islands were isolated by the sea, a barrier that prevented large species from colonizing the forests. While felines and canids evolved as apex predators elsewhere, here the ecosystem followed a different path. Without major land-based hunters, species faced unique pressures. Reflected in their adaptations, animals became bolder, more active above ground, or developed distinct defenses, from camouflage to nocturnal habits. The presence of large raptors, particularly the Philippine eagle, reshaped the food chain, taking the role of top predator with unmatched ferocity and specialization. In closed tropical forests, here, threats come from the sky rather than the ground, allowing species like the tamer to flourish with less predation. Primates, such as macaques and galagos, move confidently among branches, relying on cover and aerial vigilance to avoid surprise. Evolution in this region is a delicate balance shaped by geography. The island's isolation, steady climate, and fragmented structure created an ecosystem where adaptation, specialization, and symbiosis matter more than size or ferocity. The Philippine archipelago thus offers a realm where life not only survives but reinvents itself, defying common patterns seen elsewhere, showing that nature's balance adapts to local rules. In the lowland rainforests of Mindanao, humidity is constant, and the ground-level air is thick and warm, brushing trees with drifting mist. Light struggles through the canopy, scattering faint glimmers that tremble among leaves. Far above, in the twisting branches, a figure remains motionless, perched over 30 meters above the ground. Its massive silhouette, almost disproportionate for an aerial hunter, cuts through the foliage like an ancient shadow. This is the Philippine eagle, a predator from another era, isolated on an archipelago that left it without rivals of its size. Its piercing steel-colored eyes do not scan the horizon but the forest interior, watching from above the subtle movements of long-tailed macaques foraging near streams. The breeze lifts its rough feathered crown, acting as a natural visor that filters slanted light and allows it to discern shapes in the shifting green. The eagle does not dive recklessly. Patience outweighs speed. It measures distances and escape routes carefully. No land predator can reach these heights, yet the jungle allows no error. This bird has honed its hunting over generations, relying on absolute control of its surroundings. Its talons are proportionally stronger than those of any other bird, able to crush bones at first strike, and its attack must be precise, for thick foliage can hide prey in an instant. When it finally strikes, there is no squawk, no wing flutter, only a controlled descent, a shadow peeling from the canopy. The jungle falls silent. A young female macaque, distracted at the stream, is struck, her collarbone broken before her cry reaches the leaves. The eagle rises immediately, carrying its prey effortlessly. Size is no obstacle. This hunter in the jungles of Moro and Mindanao takes down small deer and wild boar calves. Few raptors in the world have mastered such close-quarters hunting. Moving silently among damp bark and dangling vines, its day is not measured by abundance but by vigilance, often remaining motionless in a tree for hours, studying roots and movement patterns. At night, it returns to the nest in the highest forks, where a single chick commands its attention. Only it and its mate occupy this territory. Unlike other tropical raptors, it rarely leaves the canopy. The open sky is not its realm. The jungle's upper layers are its domain, and its facial feathers act as a shield against flashes of light, revealing what remains hidden to others. Despite its mastery, its greatest threat comes not from the sky but from axes and fire, which steadily consume the forest it depends on. Though unmatched among island hunters, the Philippine eagle faces shrinking territory. Night descends over Mount Macling near Laguna, the humid silence broken only by rustling leaves. Beneath a dense canopy, a figure moves with near grace. The Philippine palm civet, a nocturnal predator defying expectations on island soil. Its sturdy body, covered in coarse fur with a white facial mask on a dark face, glides through shadows and moss with quiet elegance. Its large, luminous eyes, adapted to the dark, reflect an ancestral intelligence few birds or mammals of comparable size possess. The civet can move along the ground or stealthily climb up to 10 meters among the branches, its sharp claws granting it remarkable agility. It moves with dual purpose, hunting while dispersing seeds through its droppings, a vital function for forest regeneration. Common in both primary and secondary forests, it also ventures into mango orchards, suburban gardens, near Manila, and rural community boundaries. Its diet is diverse, ranging from juicy fruits like guava, durian, and wild coffee, to insects, frogs, small rodents, birds, and eggs. It plays a crucial role when consuming coffee cherries. Their contents partially ferment inside its digestive system, and days later the seeds are expelled with the feces, ready to germinate in the soil, supporting plant balance along its path. Solitary and territorial, its activity peaks during dark nights, avoiding movement only during full moons when aerial predators patrol overhead. Tonight, the forest exhales moisture. Wet leaves carpet the ground and the air is heavy and still. In the shadows, a civet advances cautiously, its movements measured and nearly imperceptible. Pausing beside a fallen trunk, it lifts its head, scanning the branches for the slightest motion. A tiny gecko barely stirs on a piece of bark. The civet freezes. Then, with deliberate care, it steps forward, its paws brushing dry leaves that whisper softly, a snap of moss marking its progress. The distance shortens, yet it shows no haste. In slowness lies certainty. With a controlled leap, it reaches the trunk's base, vibrates its whiskers, fixes its gaze, and in a split second, captures the reptile with precise efficiency. Momentarily still, it seems to confirm nothing else has changed before climbing the trunk. Halting midway to survey its surroundings, its facial mask stands out in dim light, dark eyes scanning with the calm of one intimately familiar with every corner here. Every step obeys the jungle's rhythm. In the Philippine wilderness, each creature claims its territory and schedule, yielding space when necessary. In the darkest hours, among damp roots and hollow trunks, one of the archipelago's most discreet and ancient residents emerges. The Philippine pangolin moves slowly on all fours, its body armored with hardened scales resembling overlapping plates designed to resist teeth and claws. Its most striking feature is its elongated, moist, sensitive snout, not just a nose but a finely tuned survival tool. This specialized organ, honed over generations, detects ant colonies even meters away, hidden under rotten wood or roots. Each inhalation carries tiny particles that trigger immediate brain responses, allowing precise reactions to pheromones or the moisture of a freshly opened nest. Its skill goes beyond finding food, embodying a seamless connection between body, senses, and environment. Their noses also detect chemical signals from other animals, predators, or shifts in the environment. In an ecosystem where senses must anticipate sight, their sense of smell can mean the difference between finding food or walking into danger. Yet their anatomy has limitations. Without dexterous hands or limbs for precise cleaning, the pangolin must rely on other methods. When its snout becomes clogged with dirt, secretions, or sticky debris, it shakes it vigorously or rubs it against damp logs, loosening the buildup, and uses its long, sticky tongue, over 20 centimeters in length, to collect insects and remove obstructions that could impair its scent. This discreet behavior is vital to its routine. Any blockage could mean losing a feeding opportunity or failing to detect a predator in time. As night advances, the Palawan pangolin maintains a slow, deliberate pace. Each area of the forest gives off a distinct scent, and its snout interprets, differentiates, and catalogs these invisible messages. In a world without large terrestrial predators, where threats come from poachers and reptiles, this mammal has perfected the art of moving unseen and unheard. The Palawan wilderness is both its refuge and its instrument, with its sense of smell serving as its most precise weapon. As the humid heat of nightfall settles, another figure begins to roam its domain. From the treetops, a heavy, unkempt silhouette glides among the branches like a shadow, intimately familiar with every crevice in the canopy. Its slow gait and coarse fur evoke ancient forms, as if emerging from a forest frozen in time. This is the binturong, a secretive inhabitant of the thicket that rarely descends to the ground, whose presence, though elusive, is essential to the ecosystem. Its muscular body, cloaked in dark, rough fur, merges seamlessly with the jungle shadows. Survival relies not on strength or speed, but on profound knowledge of its territory, an instinct that senses every whisper of wind and subtle environmental shift. This skill has ensured its survival where many others have vanished over millennia. The binturong navigates the treetops with its prehensile tail as a natural anchor, reaching for fruits hanging in darkness while most creatures sleep or shelter. Its diet is broad and opportunistic, consuming ripe fruits, small vertebrates, or abandoned eggs whenever the chance arises. Its most powerful tool, however, remains its acute sense of smell. Wide, moist nostrils detect minute airborne particles, signaling ripe fruits hundreds of meters away or unsuspecting prey at the forest floor. During rapid movement or climbing, the nostrils allow extra airflow, a critical advantage in a demanding jungle, yet the binturong lacks an easy mechanism to clear its nasal passages. When humidity saturates its airways, it shakes its head vigorously to expel excess moisture and debris. A crude but effective instinctive behavior. Each night presents unseen challenges. Deforestation fragments its habitat, forcing it to descend lower than preferred, encountering traps and human threats. Yet it moves cautiously, traveling high, avoiding trees marked by hunters, and marking its territory with thick secretions to warn intruders. On heavy nights when silence weighs and familiar scents fill the air, its sense of smell sharpens. Then it detects a distinct aroma, neither fruit nor prey, but a hidden nest, eggs warming beneath the absent mother's care. It advances with care, testing the stability of each branch before leaning over the canopy and plunging its snout into the leaves. The act is brief and silent. With its prize secured, it slips down a few meters and vanishes back into the darkness. Survival comes not from spectacle but from skill, thriving by blending into its surroundings on an island without big cats or wolf packs. Stealth and cunning rule, and few have mastered this game as completely. Yet not all wildlife here is cloaked in muted tones. Some are strikingly beautiful, unlike anything found elsewhere. In these dense jungles, tangled mangroves and endless rains, beauty emerges in unexpected forms. Along slow-moving rivers, where roots sink into dark water and branches weave green ceilings, a reptile moves through shadow. The Philippine water dragon bears patterned skin in jade, petrol blue, and emerald specks, blending into the undergrowth. Yet when sunlight filters through, its body seems to flare with light. This coloration is no accident in the forests. Gloom, these hues serve as a coded signal. Among its kind, the brightest males are the strongest, their vivid colors declaring health, vitality, and dominance. During the dry season, when streams shrink to shallow pools between stones, it patrols the banks for insects and small crustaceans, ever watchful for threats. Avoiding direct combat, it relies on powerful hind legs to leap into the water, disappearing beneath the surface and swimming with ease, holding its breath for minutes until danger passes. Predators range from birds of prey to mongooses and pythons, and a moment's carelessness can be fatal. High in the branches, where broad leaves form shaded tunnels, lives the Philippine pygmy kingfisher, one of the smallest and rarest birds of the islands. Barely larger than a fist, it defies its surroundings with plumage of bright orange, violet, and metallic gleam. In the shifting light of the forest, these colors blend with flickers and reflections, breaking its outline. Like the dragon, its colors are part of a code during courtship. Males perform short, rapid flights, flashing their feathers to win mates, but beyond display, it hunts with precision, perching near streams before diving on insects, small reptiles, or tadpoles, its sharp beak striking with unerring aim. Its size, however, leaves it vulnerable to snakes and larger birds, forcing it to watch both sky and foliage. Different as they are in form and scale, both creatures share the same inheritance to a world where light is scarce, heat oppressive, and rain sudden. Here, color is not mere decoration but a living strategy woven into scales and feathers, key to survival in a place defined by movement, stealth, and danger. In the heart of the Philippine archipelago, cities like Davao lie in the shadow of ancient mountains and jungles, where nature is not distant but woven into daily life. Amid the tropical wilderness and nearby neighborhoods, animals like the Philippine civet move quietly through gardens and markets at dusk, their presence no more than a faint murmur of wildlife alongside human life. Subtle and unobtrusive, they seem woven into the very fabric of the place. Not far away, small but determined Philippine mongooses patrol among crops and trees, hunting insects and small prey. Adapted to coexist without conflict, these species reflect the history of an ecosystem that has learned to share space without spilling human blood. In rural villages, it takes only the persistent barking of dogs toward a patch of bushes or the silent flight of startled birds for residents to sense another presence. These signs require no explanation, yet the relationship is not without tension. Deep in the jungle, the reticulated python advances with the silent patience of a predator that rules its domain. Though rare, its attacks serve as a constant reminder to rural communities that, despite the absence of large land predators, the Philippines still harbors relentless hunters. Wild pigs on the hillsides add another threat, their aggression quick to flare when cornered. Here, human and animal lives are intertwined in ways both profound and complex. There are no great distances, no impassable walls, only a fragile balance, maintained by adaptation, cunning, and an instinctive reading of the land, where nature is ever present in Filipino life. In the heavy, humid nights of the Philippine jungles, when heat hangs in the air and the treetops barely stir, creatures appear that defy expectation. They do not run, fight, or hide, they vanish. Among them, the Philippine colugo turns gravity into its ally and the void into its refuge. Its gray-mottled fur cloaks an elongated body, and its large eyes are made for the shadows. But its defining feature is the skin membrane stretching from neck to limbs, from hind legs to tail tip. When extended, it forms a living wing, carrying it up to 60 meters between trees without touching the ground. Where others rely on speed or camouflage, it depends on height and air. Millions of years in a closed predator-rich environment gave it the power to glide above danger. High in the canopy, where branches with natural bridges and shadows sway with the breeze, it can leap into space knowing it can control its descent and almost foolproof escape. Though it cannot truly fly, its glide is flawless. Legs spread to stretch the membrane like a kite, muscles tensing and weight shifting to steer with subtle precision. Its feeding is quiet and steady: new leaves, tender shoots, flowers, and occasional sapsword at heights where competition is low and ground predators cannot reach. Its life plays out in damp, shaded heights, most active at night when mist drapes the trees and jungle sounds thicken. In the mating season, males and females find each other through soft calls and scent marks high among the branches. The meetings are brief, discreet, nearly invisible to all but the most watchful eyes. Soon after, the female gives birth to a single offspring. For the first few months, the young remains attached to its mother's belly, wrapped in the same membrane that allows her to glide. The darkness that shelters the newborn also conceals danger. Each night, a silent encounter unfolds. On a broad branch, a Philippine colugo nibbles leaves from a young tree, while several meters below, a reticulated python ascends slowly through the vines. The snake, familiar with the terrain, senses the faint heat and vibration of its prey. But the colugo never lowers its guard. Instincts sharpen through generations. When the predator closes in, the animal does not flee or climb down, it leaps. In an instant, it detaches from the branch, the membrane opening like a parachute, and glides to another branch dozens of meters away. The python hangs motionless among the vines, the prey already gone. In this world where danger waits at every turn and the jungle offers no second chances, survival is not for the strongest or fastest, but for those who can bend nature to their will. The Philippine colugo shows that evolution rewards the art of moving through the canopy without touching the ground. Like many island creatures, it survives by becoming invisible, and among the masters of disappearance, one tiny, almost unseen inhabitant stands apart: the Mindanao horned frog. Deep in Mindanao's rainforests, under the shade of ancient trees and among leaf litter, this small amphibian blends perfectly with its surroundings. Its squat body merges with the forest floor, while the horn-like protrusions above its eyes break its outline, mimicking twigs and thorns to confuse predators. Emerging after rainfall, when mud and temporary pools appear, it hunts insects, spiders, and small invertebrates with slow, deliberate movements, relying on surprise rather than speed. This patience shapes even its courtship, as the male emits a deep, rhythmic call on humid nights to reach females through dense vegetation. The sound reinforced by subtle body movements. Here, success depends on timing as much as vocal strength. This unique communication reflects its deep bond with a habitat ruled by monsoon rains and fleeting seasons. Its life cycle is timed to those brief periods when the forest fills with pools, the only window for reproduction. In this fragile balance, the Mindanao horned frog endures as a quiet emblem of the harmony that sustains the rainforest, a balance that, though fragile, endures thanks to the perseverance of those who know its rhythms and the patience built into every movement of this tiny jungle guardian. In the slow, murky waters of rivers and mangroves, where the canopy's reflection meets the mud, a lone figure glides silently. Bearing an ancient lineage, the Philippine crocodile carries on its scales the legacy of giants that once ruled these lands. At no more than 1.5 meters in length and weighing only about 14 kilos, it is a small shadow of its massive ancestors that once dominated rivers and lakes without rivals. Time and an increasingly hostile environment have reshaped it through extreme adaptation, forcing it to shrink into a small predator that hunts insects, crustaceans, and snails, humble prey for a creature whose bloodline was built on power. This miniature colossus faces a daily paradox: the struggle to survive in a world that seems bent against it. Its once open, unbroken territory is now fragmented by human intrusion, pollution, and habitat loss. On the thin line between survival and extinction, it risks venturing near human settlements, where danger lurks both in the water and in human eyes. With only between 92 and 137 adults left in the wild, every life matters, every choice counts, and the fate of the species hangs on every calculated risk. Despite its size, the Philippine crocodile still carries the patience and strategy of its ancestors. At dusk, when jungle and water merge into expectant silence, it emerges to hunt, its rough skin blending perfectly with the muddy currents as it advances, eyes scanning like ancient sentinels. The drive to live outweighs fear. Beneath a cloudy surface, it glides toward apple snails clinging to submerged leaves. With a swift, quiet snap, it claims its meal, a small but vital victory. Night after night, this act becomes proof that, even in the most hostile edges, life endures. This crocodile is more than a survivor. It is a living emblem of the constant contest between nature and modern pressures. Its life shows that survival sometimes demands risks that defy instinct, yet still demands the will to hold on. In the still mangrove darkness, it carries the heritage of giants, the resilience of a lineage that refuses to vanish, and the cost of adapting to an uncertain world. Its story is a prelude to what follows: a tale of survival, risk, and the unending dance between life and death in the Philippines. Storms gather over the forests, clouds thickening above the vast canopy until the daylight turns muted and cold. The air grows heavy with moisture, and an uncanny silence spreads among the trees. The moment before the storm's roar that all creatures know and fear, high in the branches, Philippine primates watch in apprehension, their thick fur shedding, the first drops with ease. The Moro gibbon's waterproof coat sends rain sliding away, keeping it warm and agile even in downpours. Clinging to the branches, it swings with caution, seeking shelter under dense leaves as its calls are swallowed by the deepening rumble of the skies. Not far away, endemic birds weave nests from water-repellent fibers and cover them with waterproof leaves. The Philippine kingfisher shields its chicks with its wings, using its sharp beak to clean and maintain the nest's interior, ensuring the young survive harsh weather. On the ground, small rodents shelter in deep, narrow burrows designed to drain rainwater, while the swift Philippine tree mouse vanishes beneath roots and hollows. The carnivorous shrew emerges only during brief pauses in rainfall when hunting becomes possible. As the monsoon intensifies, the forest transforms into a fluid landscape, with trails turning into streams and lowlands flooding for days. Yet the soil's structure and dense undergrowth filter much of the water into the ground, feeding springs and maintaining the ecosystem's balance. For some creatures, rain signals abundance. Amphibians seize the moment to breed, the Philippine horned frog laying eggs in temporary pools, while venomous snakes hide in wet leaf litter to ambush prey made vulnerable by the storm. Large predators like the clouded leopard adapt to the slick terrain, using the rain to mask their approach, gaining an edge over their prey. In contrast, fragile species suffer loss of food and shelter, with small mammals and insects washed away, forced to start anew after the skies clear. When the storm ends, sunlight filters through droplets, and the forest exhales. Mud covers foliage as life cautiously re-emerges, some creatures beginning recovery while others face a transformed struggle. For survival, in the Philippines, rain is more than weather, it is a force shaping the fate of every species, a trial only the best adapted can withstand. As the rainforest recovers, the warm coastal waters follow their own rhythms. Among mangroves and coral mazes moves the Philippine nurse shark, a predator that defies expectations. Instead of chasing fast prey, it glides deliberately through the shadows, built for ambush in confined spaces. Its wide, downward-facing mouth acts as a powerful vacuum, pulling hidden prey from sand or coral. Sleeping fish, crabs, and mollusks to become easy victims to this silent technique. Guided by sensitive barbels that detect the faintest movement, it advances without stirring the water until a quick pull seals its catch. In these moments, stillness shatters, and life changes hands. What sets this shark apart is not just its strike, but its unwavering consistency. He can spend hours combing the crevices of the seabed, finding opportunities where others see nothing. Speed is unnecessary here. In a world of shallow waters and broken reefs, haste is a weakness. The nurse shark thrives by mastering the hidden rules of its domain. When night falls and the reefs dim, prey lowers its guard, and the shark becomes most effective. It moves quietly among submerged mangrove roots, coral rubble, and sandy hollows, taking anything its size and jaws can manage. In these hours, its mild appearance conceals a patient, methodical predator whose strength lies in repetition. Unlike the swift hunters of the open sea, the Philippine nurse shark rules not through fear but by controlling the unseen margins, excelling in an environment where shelter outnumbers open water. It proves that here, survival is less about power than understanding the world you inhabit, and in these labyrinths, no one understands it better. Yet the reef's life is shaped not only by predators but by delicate balances constantly broken and restored. Within this web moves the Philippine angelfish, whose role is not to terrorize but to safeguard. Its oval, shimmering body glides through corals and anemones, not chasing prey but patrolling. On one section of the reef, a sponge colony has grown unchecked, threatening to smother corals and block light. The angelfish works steadily, removing sponge with precise bites until space is cleared and life can breathe again. Shrimp linger nearby, aware their shelter depends on this quiet labor, but its work draws hostile territorial damselfish rush in, striking and harassing in defense of their patch. The angelfish neither fights nor flees, simply weaving through the attacks to finish the task. Only when the danger to the reef is eased does it retreat, leaving the ecosystem balanced once more. Above, storms fade and predators stir. Below, in the coral's shadow, the fight for stability carries on in the unnoticed efforts of such guardians. On the edge where jungle green meets the still surface of rivers and lagoons lives another creature, one that blurs the line between water and land, the Philippine turtle. Fragile in appearance yet a silent colossus, a territorial guardian, the Philippine turtle commands respect with each deliberate, confident movement. Its shell, made of bony plates covered in keratin, forms a nearly impenetrable armor shaped by millions of years of evolution. Able to withstand assaults from both land and water within, its organs are built for dual living, with lungs for breathing. There at the surface and a circulatory system that supports a slow, steady metabolism. Compact and strong, it moves with ease in both environments, webbed feet propelling it through water, sturdy claws digging nests and defending territory on land. Though unhurried, it will fiercely confront intruders, from small mammals to opportunistic birds. Its varied diet, ranging from aquatic plants and algae to insects, crustaceans and small fish, reflects its adaptability in an archipelago where resources shift with seasons and tides. During breeding season, males battle for dominance, relying on shell strength and physical power, while females seek sheltered beaches or riverbanks to bury dozens of eggs beneath soil or vegetation for protection. A familiar scene unfolds at dusk as a turtle hauls itself ashore to dig a nest under the watch of curious monkeys, fending off a bold mammal with a resounding shell strike. As it moves between jungle and water, guarding its legacy, the forest, but awakens to an even smaller realm, one ruled by intricate societies. In the treetops, among tangled branches and shifting light, thrives an organized and relentless force, the Asian weaver ants. In the Philippine jungle, no creature escapes their influence. At first, they appear as small amber bodies marching along leaves and stems, but closer observation reveals a disciplined hierarchy functioning as one. No ant lives for itself, it hunts, builds, defends, and dies for the colony. At the center is the queen, capable of laying up to 2,000 eggs a day, the sole source of the colony's survival. Around her, workers form the collective mind, capable of remarkable coordination. When a patrol finds a food source, they mark it with pheromones and return to summon reinforcements. In minutes, a swarm follows the chemical trail, surrounding and subduing the prey with precise efficiency. The attack unfolds with precision and seize the victim's legs in powerful jaws, climb over its body, and in a coordinated wave dismantle it into pieces small enough to carry. In this society, it matters neither who found the prize nor who eats first. If one succeeds, all succeed. Their abilities extend beyond hunting, for weaver ants are master builders of the canopy. They weave living leaves together, bending them into sealed chambers without using their own silk. Instead, they carry live larvae whose silk threads glue the leaves in place, a method unmatched anywhere in the world. Their defensive territory is absolute. Any intruder venturing near is met by dozens of biting, immobilizing workers until it retreats. They have been seen repelling snakes and small mammals through sheer collective force. The colony acts as a single organism. Chemical signals travel instantly from one sector to another, rallying the entire network into action with flawless coordination. By controlling insect populations, deterring competitors, and influencing the health of the trees they inhabit, weaver ants do more than survive, they reign. No bird, lizard, or insect dares to ignore their presence. Here in the air, survival, it is not about individual strength but the unity and sacrifice of the group, a society honed to a level of efficiency still beyond full understanding. Yet as they rule the heights, life stirs below among the branches and damp earth, where stranger predators emerge to stake their claim. In this realm, dominance belongs not to armies but to a lone, relentless killer, the giant hunting wasp, sometimes exceeding 5 centimeters in length. She flies with unwavering purpose, hunting alone with precision and deadly intent. Her prey is chosen carefully, often an unsuspecting caterpillar. When she strikes, her sting does not kill but paralyzes, leaving the victim alive, conscious, and trapped within its own body. The wasp hides it in a burrow, a bark crevice, or a curled leaf, then lays an egg upon it. For days, the larva feeds slowly, consuming soft tissues first and sparing vital organs to prolong its host's life. Only when nothing remains does it deliver the final blow, completing its transformation. Cruel as it may seem, this strategy ensures a steady, uncontested supply of fresh food for the next generation, removing the risks of daily hunting and theft by scavengers over millions of years. The hunting wasp has perfected a plan that forges each generation into a more specialized predator. Its routine is deliberate during the hottest hours. It patrols sunlit clearings and open spaces where prey is easier to spot, never wasting energy on uncertain strikes. Every attack carries risk. A target could escape, or in the case of some spiders and cicadas, fight back. This is why the wasp selects carefully, acts with speed, and vanishes before rivals arrive. In an ecosystem ruled by efficiency and survival, such precision is the norm. Evolution refined this approach to ensure secure, fresh food for offspring, without the burden of guarding or storing it. Here, even the smallest creatures wield brutality as a legitimate survival tool. In the damp lowlands of the Philippines, where forest gaps give way to stagnant pools, danger sometimes comes in a body no bigger than a thumb, dressed in impossible colors, the poison dart frog. Its dazzling blues, yellows, and oranges are not decoration but a clear warning. For its skin carries one of the most potent toxins in the animal kingdom, able to paralyze insects, arachnids, and small vertebrates within seconds. Few creatures enjoy such immunity from predation. Too small to fight and too bright to hide, this frog turned its skin into a weapon. The poison is not self-made but derived from toxic insects and arachnids in its diet, processed into a chemical shield that even seasoned hunters avoid. Only a few predators, like certain tree snakes, have partial resistance, but for most, mere contact can cause paralysis, nervous collapse, or death. A single frog's toxin can kill dozens of small mammals and induce fatal convulsions in much larger creatures. This is no active hunter but a silent assassin, moving through slick leaves to snap up an unwary beetle in a single motion, letting the venom ensure swift incapacitation. The jungle seems to heed the warning. Predators steer clear, insects divert their paths, and birds avoid perching where these frogs gather after rain. In this relentless environment, survival is not always about speed or strength. Sometimes it is about being lethal without a sound. As evening humidity thickens in the canopy above, another hunter prepares to take command of the era predator that needs neither venom nor stealth, yet rules the skies of the Philippines. When the rains clear and warm air rises from the soaked earth, no creature commands more fear than the Philippine hawk. From heights few can reach, it surveys its realm with the cold precision of a predator that has turned killing into an art. Its vision, reminiscent of the ancient reptiles that once ruled the planet, can pick out the faint shiver of a leaf or the glint of scales in a far-off stream. For this hunter, the suffering of prey is not an accident but a deliberate tactic. Its compact plumage allows swift maneuvers through dense treetops, while talons stronger for their size than those of any terrestrial cat can pierce vital organs or pin victims without killing them outright. Even in the nest, brutality reigns. Only one or two chicks survive each brood, as the strongest instinctively cast weaker siblings from the perch, knowing there will never be enough food for all. The hawk's menu spans lizards, mammals, fledgling birds, and bats, but it is in tackling larger prey that its cruelty is clearest. It does not simply kill, it controls, breaking wings and crippling legs to keep victims alive and helpless. On the forest floor, a young macaque edges toward a stream in search of fruit, unaware of the silent form above. The hawk waits for the perfect opening, then drops like a weighted shadow, talons sinking into its back before the monkey can react, dragging it across the ground through leaves and mud. The hawk keeps it conscious while calmly dismantling it first, then neck, then organs, drawing out the moment as an assertion of dominance. Here, death is never the only aim. Survival is about proving mastery over all that moves. This philosophy has kept the Philippine hawk thriving while other species vanish. In the Philippines, even the sky offers no refuge, for every living thing eventually pays the price of life. From dense jungles to coral reefs, the archipelago is a fractured world shaped by heat, relentless rain, and the stillness before storms, a place where no creature is given an advantage and brutality is simply the way things are. This cycle does not end. Each death feeds another beginning, and among the islands scattered across this ancient landscape, there will always be something new, waiting, unseen. Nature writes no final chapters here, only continuations, and it is the observer who decides when to stop looking.